What's going on, YouTube family? Today we have an absolutely insane story. Today we're going to be talking about a dealership that allegedly stole $11.7 million from its customers by selling their cars and not paying them. This is another reason why I always tell everybody, you never ever consign your car to a dealership. Now in this video, I'm going to explain currently what's happening with this dealership, why you should never ever consign a car to a dealer, what happens if they actually sell your car and they don't pay you. On top of that, how do you protect yourself from this happening to you? So through the years, I've probably made about several videos just like this, begging people to never ever consign your cars to dealerships, especially if it's classic cars, exotic cars, or luxury cars, because that is the biggest market for fraud, and I'm going to explain why. Now, this particular dealership in San Diego, unfortunately, like I said, defrauded people out of $11.7 million. Now, the only reason why this one is so outrageous is because the dollar amount is just nuts. Most dealers do this every single month. There's dealers getting closed down, burning banks and customers for hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not $1 million or $2 million. This one took it to the next level and went for the gusto. So a lot of these exotic car and highline places always have these very fancy showrooms, and they're always full of really nice cars. So people tend to walk through those and say, you know what, I'm going to bring my car here to sell because he's a dealer. He could sell it faster. So I understand the appeal of wanting to consign your car to a dealership. But to be honest with you, there's nothing further from the truth. As a person that buys cars, I'd rather buy it from the person. I can ask you about the car, I can get more history about it, and we can deal one-on-one instead of using a third party like a dealer. Now, the reason why you don't want to ever consign your cars is because a lot of this stuff is all smoke and mirrors. And I won't mention names, but I know there's a lot of dealers in multiple states that are having issues because remember, the economy's tanking. A lot of these exotic cars took a massive hit in depreciation. You know, when you lose 20% off your, Ford Focus, it's no big deal. You lose maybe a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s. But if you're talking about a $200,000 to $300,000 car, you're talking about losing, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 like that. And that's what happened to a lot of these exotic car dealers. So what are they doing? Well, they can't afford to buy new cars. So every time there's a recession or some sort of dip in economy, they get desperate and start taking on consignments. Give me your cars, because they want to keep that showroom full, because they got to keep up that illusion that they're making money. And so what happens is they'll take on your car and say, hey, I'll sell your car and, we'll take a commission out of the profits, and they don't really argue with the customer. Where somebody like me, I want to buy your car. I don't want to consign it. I'd rather buy it for a good price. You get your money right away, and now I could sell the car, and if I have any issues, it's no big deal because it's my car. I don't ever want to consign a car. I had a buddy of mine, he had this pretty cool Mustang. He wanted me to consign it at his dealership. And I knew if I did, he would call me every day. Hey, did you sell my car? Did you sell my car? On top of that, if I had some homeless guy with a shopping cart come by and smack the side of his Mustang, he's going to probably expect me to pay for it. So I don't want the liability. So if I'm not willing to do that on a $20,000 Mustang, why in the hell would you want to do it for a $200,000 to $300,000 car? It doesn't make any sense. The liability is simply not worth the risk. On top of that, when you do these consignments, your job as a dealer is to let the customer know that whatever they think their car is worth is not really theirs. So if you consign your Ferrari to me, I will tell you that your car is worth $250,000, not $300,000. And they usually would walk away and they go to these other guys that, oh yeah, I can get $300K for your car. Just sign this piece of paper saying that I can get your commission. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, I have the title in my hand. I have security. I can give them the car, but I'm not going to give them the title. The title doesn't mean shit. I'm here to tell you right now. Everybody thinks that's like your get out of jail free card. Your title doesn't mean anything. And I'm going to explain why. If the customer consigns the car to the dealer and the dealer sells it to, let's say, a new customer. So the customer is you. I sell you this G6x6 and you pay me cash or check from your credit union. And now it's officially your car. We did the paperwork. You, the consumer, is 100% protected. They cannot take your car from you. A lot of people that got burned by CNC Motors, I'll go over them here in a little bit, the owners got so upset because they didn't get paid. They tried to go out and steal their own cars back by filing them as stolen, and they winded up going to jail for auto theft. This is a very big deal, and I need you guys to listen. I know it sucks you lost your car, but you cannot go after the other person. Now, you could reach out to them and try to negotiate or maybe work a deal or see if there's something you can do, but you cannot take your car because more than likely, a few of these guys got their cars back. One guy even got it back and sold it really quick, thinking he'd be out of it, and he winded up going to jail. So don't do that. The customer is protected through the DMV, through the law. The person that consigned it, you're pretty much screwed. even if you have the title. I know that sounds horrible, but that's literally the reason why I beg people, never ever consign your car. Now, even though, like I said, you have the title and you own ownership and you could prove that he didn't pay it for you, you could go after two things. One is their bond. Every dealer has a bond. Now, unfortunately, this is why I keep harping on exotic cars, classic cars, and luxury cars. Most dealer bonds are only $100,000 and below. So you can only go after them for that amount. Now, this one's very easy to prove. If they didn't pay you and you could show receipts of that and you can basically show the messages and everything else, hey, this guy didn't pay me, the bond will pay you out and they basically will call the DMV and shut down that dealer right then and there. The bond is there to protect the consumers from a bad dealer. But unfortunately, if you get screwed out of a $300,000 car, that doesn't really do you any good. So what about suing their insurance company? Now, some cities and some states, and depending on the insurance company, they will have some sort of fraudulent paperwork clause in their actual insurance contract. So if they're actually willingly participating in fraud, you could actually sue the insurance company to get money. Now, unfortunately, you have to go the whole route and actually sue them to get something, but it may cost you $3 to $4 grand. But once you get into court, I guarantee you they'll finally open up and say, okay, what do you want? How much money is the car worth? We'll pay you X amount of dollars, and at least you'll get some money there. Now, I remember in the fact of CNC Motors, same thing happened. A lot of these guys brought over their exotic cars and Highline cars. They sold these vehicles and then they didn't pay any of their customers. And what they did is they basically kind of pushed the car down the road. Oh, I sold the car, but then the deal unwound, so I had to take it back, but the car will be sold soon. And they kept telling these people the same thing over and over again because selling an exotic or Highline car or even a classic car sometimes can take months, if not years. This is actually a real thing. And they use this time to basically get your car, sell it. They spend all the money. They usually wind up giving it to the guy that they sold the car last time. They pay their bills. They want to maintain their crazy lifestyle. You can see these guys on Instagram all the time, always driving around in boats and yachts and all this crazy stuff. And so they're so worried about maintaining this image of selling Highline cars, where if they were just to go back to selling regular cars and Highline cars, they could probably, get themselves out of debt, but they won't do it. They got to get free cars from consignments and sell them. So now that they got your car and they sold it and they're basically kicking you down the road, how do you avoid this? Now, I always tell people this. Don't ever consign your cars. That's the first thing. Second thing, if you do decide to, or if you know this person, you like him, whatever the BS excuse is, it's been around for 20 years, you could go there, but you got to make sure the car is GPSed and do not tell them about it. You want to know every time they start the car, every time they move the car. I've had a few customers of mine put GPSs in their cars and they literally see the owner of the dealership driving their cars around on the weekend, showing them off, going to nightclubs and stuff. That's the stuff you don't want to see. So you want to GPS it. And on top of that, you want to put eyes on your car every single week. You need to know where your car is at all times. If they see you constantly hounding them, constantly bugging them, they will know they can't put one over you. They can't screw you. But a lot of these people, especially people with disposable incomes, this could be their 6th, 7th car. Maybe they live out in, like this guy that I guess he shipped his Porsche to this dealership in San Diego and he was somewhere on the East Coast. It's pretty common. So they don't even live there. They'll just ship the car there for them to sell it. So you're not really physically there. Or maybe you're traveling, you're a busy entrepreneur. You don't know where your cars are at. It's actually really common in this type of field, and these guys know it. And so they know that they can pull the wool over your eyes for weeks, if not months, just to basically BS the owner and let them know that, they haven't sold their car yet. So now that we know that you should never consign your car, how do we avoid this? Now, I always tell everybody, you could hire a broker, you can consign it to a dealership, but there's so much things done virtually online now. What I would recommend is going to the dealership in your area, have them take pictures there in their showroom, give them a commission, let them market it, but then take the car directly back home, keep it clean, keep it ready, just in case if the dealer calls you. If he says, I got a customer coming down tomorrow, 3 p.m., you get down there with the car and you show it and you don't leave until the customer the dealership either gives you a check, cash, or some sort of, wire. So you know that you've been paid for the car. Then you can hand over the title and then you can go ahead and move forward. The scary thing is this is just the tip of the iceberg. As we go deeper into this recession, you're going to see more Highline dealers going broke because they can't sell these cars. If regular dealers can't sell regular cars and trucks, How can somebody with an exotic car dealership still sell cars? I know it sounds funny and you think it's the complete opposite, but it's not true. A lot of the banks pretty much terminated their exotic car financing thing because they lost so much money. If you bought a Lamborghini Urus for $200,000 over MSRP, let's say you paid 400 something thousand, that today that car is worth maybe 250. Rolls-Royce Cullinans, I've seen with my own eyes people that I know $250,000 upside down in their car loans. This is what's currently out there. And so guess what? These guys are trying to sell their cars. And if they owe that much money, they're just going to basically give them somewhere and just hopefully they can sell it and get out of it. And in the meantime, these people are either driving your cars around, selling them or whatever else. So it's really bad. So do not believe the hype of a lot of these exotic rental car companies. Please be careful. I know there's one guy here in Vegas. There's 2 guys in LA, a few guys in Miami. Like I said, this stuff happens every single month. There's dealers that are selling people's cars and not paying them. So please be careful out there. Do your due diligence on the actual dealer. And if you are going to buy an exotic car, classic car from one of these dealers, always go to a bank or a credit union, even if you have cash. Get a loan through them and then bring the car over. Because if you have a bank on your side, a lot of times it'll help you when it comes to negotiating these deals. Because if you're just a person, you pay cash and this guy magically just shows up and steals his car back from you, it'll be much harder for you to get it back legally, where a bank can do all kinds of things to get your car back. So it's very important. If you plan on buying one of these cars from one of these weird little dealerships that basically nothing to do with exotic cars and classic cars, make sure you protect yourself and go from there. But anyways, if you know anybody that's basically suffering from this, have them reach out to me, Lucky@Automotive-Life. These calls are completely free. I don't like to see anybody get burned. Also, if you know any dealers that are currently going down, please share them in the comment section below. So this way other subscribers can see this and they won't get burned, because it's very important. The whole purpose of this channel is to be transparent about the automotive industry. And unfortunately, this is one of the things that make dealers look really, really bad. And this fraud is only going to get worse as we go deeper into this recession. But anyways, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, like I said, put in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And make sure you follow me on Instagram @LuckyLopez, and we'll see you next video.